Hello, and welcome to Sleeping with Sara. I'm Sara Albritton, your host, and this is the podcast where I interview people in my bed and we talk about sleep, comedy, and relationships. This week I had a friend of mine, Crystal Powell, very funny comedian. She's done JFL, she's done Kevin Hart's Heart of the City. She is awesome. I've had her on my podcast. Full disclosure, we did this podcast quite a few months ago, and I held off because she has this awesome new show and Instagram series called Coffee with Crystal that she recently released, and I wanted to wait till I was able to plug her show. So please check out Coffee with Crystal and follow Crystal on Instagram. You can follow her at Crystal P Comedy on Instagram, and she also has a website. It's crystalpcomedy.com, so you can check out her shows over there. I had a blast talking with Crystal. We had so much fun. We talked about everything from dating, being a teacher, what JFL was like, life on the road. Crystal also has some amazing advice for comedians and just people that are looking for a way to look at your life and to try to create the life that you want. She has some awesome advice, and I'm excited to share this with you. But first, we gotta do some plugs. You know we gotta do them. Sleeping with Sara is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsara to get a free audiobook of your choice. This week, I'd like to recommend I Can't Make This Up by Kevin Hart. Again, that's audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsara. If you want to catch me live, you can go to Bar Lubitsch on August 18th at 8 p.m. Doors are at 8, shows at 8:30 for wild and weird comedy, so please check that out. And if you like the podcast, please rate and review on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, Google Podcast, all the things. Please rate and review, and be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Sara Albritton. Well, let's get started with the show. Sleeping with Sara. Welcome to Sleeping with Sara. I'm here in my bed with Crystal Powell. Woo-hoo! How'd you sleep last night, Crystal?
Man, not as good as I'm relaxing right now. This is the best. I did sleep all right. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Do you sleep well usually?
No, I do not, unfortunately, because I'm traveling a lot. So being in different time zones, my body never, I'm kind of like still in Central. So my body really never adjusts to the West Coast because I'm hardly ever here. So when I am here and I want a full 6-hour to 8-hour rest, it hardly ever happens. I'll wake up super early and answer some emails, and then hopefully I can, go back and take a nap. So no, I have insomnia bad.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of me then.
Yeah. You sleep well?
I have narcolepsy, so it's the opposite. So
yeah, it is. Man, you know what though? But especially if I've been drinking, I'm going to sleep good. I should probably just start taking a shot at night just to go to bed. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, but I notice a lot of creative people I feel like have like sleep issues or sleep problems, and especially doing stand-up, like having the crazy schedule.
The crazy schedule, the crazy thoughts, because like it's been times where I've been super exhausted and knowing that I'm so sleepy, I'm insane, but like a crazy thought will come in my head, and then I'll get up and start writing it, and then I'll get so into it, then now once I'm done writing it down, I can't go back to sleep. So it's like, now I might as well go ahead and just get up and just finish this out, and then before you know it, it's 5 a.m.
Oh, so you're like real excited.
Yeah.
So you'll write whenever the idea comes to you.
Yeah, I have to or I'll forget.
Okay.
I have to. If it hits me, sometimes I can put little notes in my phone, but if it's something I'm super, super excited about, like if something just crosses my mind, I've got to write out as much of it as I possibly can because I don't want to lose that thought at all.
And is this for stand-up or for writing anything?
It's for writing anything, okay. Yeah.
You also write scripts and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 2 scripts that are just dear to my heart, but I've been told that I gotta release them and because every time, and stop rereading it. I read it and then I'll be like, oh, I want to add this, and then I read it again, and so it's crazy. I go too far with it, but we're passionate about our work, and when somebody gives you notes on it, you're like, but it's a good thing. So I've got to start letting people read this magic. It does no good on my laptop.
Yeah, it does. You got to put it out there. And the thing is, you can always make adjustments, but you also have to learn to not be too attached to something.
Yeah, so that's my problem.
It's the kill your babies,
Yeah.
right? So it's like even if like there's a joke that you love in your pilot, but it doesn't serve like the right purpose, you know, you got to learn to just be okay.
Yeah, and let it go. And say that's the thing. I'll be like,
It's really hard. Like this is why I like writing with a writing partner, because it's easier for the other person to be like, nope, this has got to go.
Yeah. Versus when it's just you and you're like, I love everything that I wrote. But if you got somebody to bounce it off, it does make it better. But
or sometimes hearing it read out loud with actors can help too.
I always say 2 heads are better than one. So anything that I'm just doing alone, like it's always better if I have, you know, a partner. I'm not that person. Like I'm cool with being alone and being by myself, especially after coming off the road, because you're around so many people. You just kind of want to take a moment. But I do like the company of others. I do feel like collaboration is beautiful, a beautiful thing, and I feel like 1 + 1 = 2. Like 2 heads are better than one. So I'm all about, you know, like writing partners, and you know, I even have comedy buddies, like someone that helps me stay responsible for those nights when you get off the road and you're like, oh, I'm tired, but they're like, hey, are we going out tonight? And we hold each other accountable. So I'm all about the shared life.
Well, that's really good. Yeah. I mean, I have friends that it's like, I know if I go out any night or if I go here, I'll run into these people this night. And so it's nice to know that. But yeah, having someone hold you accountable is good, especially if you're off the road and you just did a bunch of shows and you're just like, man, not as much stage time when you come back here.
Yes, that's what I had to get used to, because I think when we met and we were talking about that, like, I'm used to coming from Houston, like, if you get on a show, you know, you're either headlining, or even if you're not headlining, or even your open mics are at least 15, or, you know, yeah, you can get 15 minutes, but out here, they're like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, like, you've got to be like a name, to just get on stage out here, and I had to learn that when I came back, because I was kind of like, I'm somebody. And they were like, no, get in line, it's so much talent here, so you've just got to... Be lucky that you're getting 3 minutes at the Comedy Store. Yeah.
Because this is where people go to stay.
Yeah.
Like, at any other scene, like, you can grow because people leave and then you work your way up. But LA and New York, people stay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I did it backwards. I was here, and then I got married, and then I moved to Houston, and then I came back. But I'm proud of myself, because a lot of people don't leave. They leave LA, but they don't make it back. So I'm proud of myself for at least staying driven and staying focused and staying true to it and not giving up. No, don't, you know, doesn't mean that I haven't wanted to give up. Like, there are days, you know, and for people that say that I never want to give up, I'm like, oh, okay. Are you drinking motor oil because you're not human?
Yeah. It's a tough, I mean, but it's like, if there's anything else you could do, you know.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
It's like, nothing is as...
It's almost like, it's that deal, like... Yeah, it gets scary, it gets lonely, because a lot of my friends are like, oh my God, you're on the road all the time. I was like, yeah, but I'm on the road by myself. Like, it's me in my hotel room, and then you don't have an audience or people to interact with until the nighttime. You can walk around downtown San Antonio and talk to strangers, but for the most part, you're with yourself. And people don't see that part, but it's the most rewarding feeling when I get off a stage and I've rocked, and or... I have someone in the audience that I truly touched. Like, I have women come up to me and they're like, I haven't been out of my house in 8 months. I'm going through a divorce, and you just made me laugh until I cry. That's when you're like, I'm doing something with my life, you know? So it's worth it. You just gotta, you know, it's tough, but it's one of those, I think if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Comedy is,
it's definitely not easy.
Not at all.
But you've had some legit, like, credits. You did Kevin Hart's thing.
I did Kevin Hart's The Heart of the City. I just left Montreal doing Just for Laughs, and that was like...
How was that?
Oh my God, like, it was such an eye-opener for me, just because of the greatness that I was surrounded by. And I have like your mirror there, I have on my mirror, like, I have all of my goals and things that I want to do and things that I want to achieve, because I'm a person, if I see it every day, then I'm like, okay, this is the path that I want to be on. But for me to be at a table with Dave Chappelle, not to say that Dave Chappelle was talking to me, but we're he's an arm's reach. It just gave me the insight that, you know what, it might not happen when I want it to, but these people are regular people we have something in common because we're funny and I can do this too. And I tell comedians, you know, even if you're not selected to go. Even if you're not selected to be on Fresh Faces or the Variety's Next 10 to watch or, you know, the Laugh Out Loud Network with Kevin Hart, put it on your calendar to go, because just being in that atmosphere, it was just mind-blowing. Like everyone from Wanda Sykes to Russell Peters to, you know, Gina, like it was mind-blowing. And I was just like, I had so many moments where, because, you know, they always say, you got to act like you've been here before. So I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I had a moment with Tiffany Haddish, and I was like, hey, do you remember me? And she goes, girl, yeah, my memory ain't that bad. So you're around all these people, you know, Lil Rel, he's had an amazing year with the new show on Fox, and you're so close to these people, and I'm having these moments like, oh yeah, that's great news, and then I'm like,
yeah, you're trying to play it cool.
I'm trying to play it cool, but on the inside, I'm like, I'm here, like, and it just motivates you. And even when I came back, I was like, I got to hit the ground running. And it just gives you something to look forward to, and it gives you insight on if I don't give up and if I just keep my head down, keep writing, keep pushing forward, this will work out. So, yeah.
That's great. And how long have you been doing stand-up?
I've been doing stand-up 8 years now. I was just telling a friend of mine, I'm ready to make that 10-year mark. Because, you know, comedians that were like, you're young babies. And I'm like,
You're new until you're 10 years in.
You're new until you're 2 years. That's your initiation part, a decade. And then now you can say, oh, yeah, I'm a true comedian. But, 8 years.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm 4.5 years into stand-up. And I've been writing and doing stuff like comedy before, but that was like improv. It doesn't count.
It does, but you know what? It all improv and sketch too. Like I tell people, like combining them, you know, because I'm a like active comedian. Like I wish that like silence. I just got to the point where silence didn't devastate me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like in the beginning, I was that person, Yosemite Sam. Like from the moment I get there on stage to the moment my last breath of getting off, like. I want pure laughter. And then I was watching Dave Chappelle, and I was like, I mean, there was no laughter in the room anywhere, but people were hanging on to his every word. And I was like, I want to be like that. Because when you first start out, we're comedians. Mm-hmm. We're here to make people laugh. So that's your job. You're like, I want laughter. I want laughter from the moment I get on stage to the moment. But that was when I'm starting off doing 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. When you on stage for an hour, you better sit there and talk to them because you're going to be exhausted if you're not. But it just taught me that, you know, silence is okay. And that means that you've captivated your audience and they're listening to you. And you've got some good stuff to say. And a chuckle here and there is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I like to think of it as, like, comedians are also kind of philosophers or, you know, like, it's like you start with a thesis statement and then you build your hour around that. And you're making a point along with being funny. Yeah. And those are the stand-up specials I really love, and the ones that I hope to get eventually. You know, but yeah, with the no laughter. Speaking of, did you hear about Drew Michaels' new special on HBO?
No, not yet. No,
it was filmed without an audience, and it's got a lot of like visuals. I'm watching it tonight with a friend because I was like, I'm not gonna watch it yet. I want to watch it with another comedian, and like I want to see what we. Because it's going to be weird to watch a stand-up special without any laughter, you know.
And see, that would freak me. That I don't... See, I guess that's just me basically talking about my own growth, and that would just weird me out, like, because I feed off of... people's energy.
I'm the same way. Yeah. And also just in general, people around me. I love being around positive people, energetic people.
What?
People that like to go, like, hiking and stuff.
We just talk and meet. I
do want to mention how we met.
That's good, though. That's a genuine... And I tell people that all the time, like... LA is so about networking, and you find people wanting to talk to you for the wrong reasons. And I tell people my best and most valuable relationships are relationships where it was organic and authentic when we met. And that was the situation with us. It wasn't me saying, oh, that chick has a cool podcast and she runs a show on Tuesday night. Let me go say hi. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was I saw she was walking up Reddit and you were doing like
I was doing live
Instagram live. Yeah. But she was saying so it was motivating because my friend that I hike with, he just runs up the mountain and I had to like catch up. Cindy like just runs up and I'm just like, all right, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
I'll meet you there later.
And the thing is that you were saying you can do it. Just put your mind to it. And I was like, that is helping me out right now. That is helping me get through this. This is keeping me from sitting down and giving up. And so when we got to the top, I just had to say something. I was like, that helped me. That helped me motivate.
And then we started talking. Yeah. But you know what? I tell people all the time, like, and I don't know if it. Well, I do know. I'm from the South, and I just feel like, because there's bad seeds everywhere, but Southern people, I love, like, part of my bit, I just started working on this, is about giving eye contact, and even if you don't know someone, you give a little smirk, that says hello, or if someone lets you over in traffic, you throw up the whole wave, or if you get in the elevator with someone, it's okay to say, hey, how you doing? And I love being around positive people. Yes, there are days that I have a pity party where I'm like, my pants, I just busted my butt and I'm getting fat. But I don't live in it. But being around positive people really, really affects your life and affects your day-to-day operation, because misery does love company. But if you surround yourself with people that are trying and that are wanting to stay positive, bad stuff happens, and you're okay to voice your emotions and opinions. Like, it's okay to feel, just don't live in it. And you got to just surround yourself with fun people that want to live good lives, and then we can write about it. And
and then eventually be in everyone's TV shows.
There you go, man. Be in everybody's living room like, hey, y'all, what we going to talk about today?
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait till, like, years from now, me and all my friends, we could just be making movies and be like, all right, where do you want to go this year? Do we want to write a movie that takes place in Hawaii or Paris or where? Let's just write a funny movie. Let's all go do it together. And
those are dreams that you can achieve. But it starts with, with you. A friend of mine, just in the car, I was talking to him on the way here, and he was saying that, man, I was a movie star in my mind. And I was like, that's where you should be first. I was like, because if you don't believe it, how can you make anyone else believe it? So that's awesome to hear you, talk about years later wanting to be in movies. Hopefully it's not years. We're like right there, and we're both, in movies and doing great. But it's okay. But like, some people get embarrassed to want to even talk about their dreams. Like, it's like, but I think that's about not wanting to fail, because if I say out loud that I want to be in movies and I want to do all these things and then I don't get to do them, it shows the world that I failed. So it's like, I'm afraid to really just say that I really want to be an amazing stand-up comedian and doing movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think a lot of people are afraid of that, but I look at it in the opposite way. So I like to say, the more I say something out loud, the more I hold myself accountable, and the more I'll believe it will happen.
Yep.
So when I was planning to move to LA for a while, because I wanted to have stuff together. I wanted to have a certain amount of time I had ready. I wanted to have my web series done. I wanted to have things happening before I moved to LA. So I kept telling people, like, about a year and a half before I moved, I was like, I'm moving to LA. I'm moving to LA. And it's one thing, because a lot of people will talk about doing something and not do it, but it's like actually following through and doing it, and be like, and so by the time I actually moved, it was like, they all knew I was moving to LA. Also kind of helped with the guy situation. Because I was like, I was like, hey, just a heads up, don't get too attached, I'm leaving.
Yeah. You can come over, but this is temporary.
Exactly.
No strings attached. Yeah.
I feel like we're,
and it's okay for when, I'm so glad that, not changes everybody, I'm so glad women are getting to the point where they can be okay with their sexuality and say, hey, you know what, this is temporary. This is cool for right now, but just know that you won't be sinking ship here. Like, this is not the final say so.
My problem is, even if I say that, like, I'm having people still, like, fall for me.
That means she got that good. She's like, I be trying to tell them, but they just won't leave.
I think my biggest fear is, like, for them just to say that we're doing sex or something. Like, if they're like, I love the way this feels, I love this, and I'm just like, just don't say the other thing.
Yeah, just don't.
Because that will just make me dry out.
She talking about the Sahara Desert. But it's crazy. It's so crazy. But you're right. You have to say it over and over, because, like, one of my dreams is to be a talk show host. And
I could totally your talk show would be a blast.
And that's what I want to do right now. And so, like, that's all I talk about. That's all I watch. Part of the things is, like, just for research, but I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere and the universe to say, this is what I want to do. This is where I can see myself. And it starts with us. If you want it, if you can see it, you can achieve it. And I tell one of my hashtags I use all the time, and my friends are like, you're so cliche, but I'm like, that stuff works. Like, you can't quit. You won't lose if you don't quit. We always get caught up in, I want it right now. And because it doesn't happen when we want it to happen, we think that we failed. No, just keep going. It might not happen when we want it to happen, but it'll happen if you do not quit. So just keep going, and it'll happen when it's supposed to. I'm a religious person. I have great faith, and I believe when we're prepared and when we've shown the universe that we're ready for these things, then those things will come into our life when we're ready. Because, I realize myself, if I would have come, like, I used to hate how everyone was beating up on Lindsay Lohan, even Justin Bieber, like, these people are kids and they got millions of dollars. If I would have been 18 with millions of dollars, I'd have been a black Lindsay Lohan. Like, that's hard. There are some adults that can't handle that type of power and fame and money. Like, you've got adults that are, millionaires and, they're committing suicide and they've been in the world. So imagine a teenager or a kid. So,
or like athletes. Like,
exactly.
Like that's one thing. It's like these athletes that are like 20, 21, 22. Like, they have so much money and like...
So much.
And it's ridiculous. And some people are really smart with it and plan it out and do good things. But some people end up broke because they didn't plan it out or didn't...
Well, I think it depends on your foundation. I really think that if you only surround yourself by yes people that are your employees and they depend on your life to support themselves, then they're going to do whatever you tell them to do because you're their boss, you're their employer. But if you have someone in your foundation or in your surroundings that's going to say, hey, no, Sarah, that's wrong. You can't be out here killing cats and stuff. They're going to be like, you're going to be like, you know what, yeah, that's probably right. But if you've got nothing but yes people around you, they're going to say, you know what, that cat, he looked at me wrong anyways when he walked. You know what I mean? You just can't have yes people around you, and that has a lot to do with it because, everyone makes mistakes. We're all flawed. We all make mistakes, but the difference is, whether or not you're malicious or not with it, but you've got to surround yourself with the right people, good people, and
people that will call you on your shit, too.
Yeah,
like,
people that will call you on your shit and tell you.
That's what I was lucky that there's a pocket of Chicago people that I already knew from before I moved here.
Yeah.
It's like people that know me. I mean, other people know me, but like it's only a couple months that they've known me. It's a different if somebody's known you for years, and having those people that I know will be real with me regardless of where everything goes.
Yeah, and that's what you need. You have to have people around you that can be honest with you. And you also have to be able to receive that. That goes back to what we were talking about with the scripts. Like, we can't be so in love with a script or a joke and not be able to receive constructive criticism if someone's telling you, if you trust them as a friend and they're saying, hey, I care enough about you to say this isn't cool what you're doing, or this isn't, necessarily funny and I don't think it'll work. We have to be open to receive that because, that's an ego deal towards, it could possibly even be a situation where you're like, no, I think this is hilarious, but it, just might not be. So it's at the end of the day, whether it's comedy or whether it's being a plumber or being an electrician or an architect, like, I feel like if your core is solid and you're a good person, like, in the end, I do feel like, because a lot of people are like, bad guys always win, and I don't feel that way. I feel like if you're a good person, eventually it's going to come to surface in the world to see it. And
that makes me so happy about some people I know that are like, so I know Chris Red a little bit. And he was always, I knew him. He was still in Chicago, I think, the first year I was starting out.
I just met him in Montreal, yeah.
And he was the nicest dude, like, because he was doing improv and sketch and stand-up, and I came from improv, and so he was just nice to me. He was somebody that had been around and been doing stuff a long time, but, like, he's a genuinely nice, decent person that, like, just works his ass off, and, like, good things happen to him.
Yeah.
And so, and, that's what I've told him. I said, it makes me happy to see somebody that works hard, that puts in the effort, that is nice, you know, because there are a lot of people that are just kind of...
You'd be like, psh, oh, I'm sorry, did I do that?
Yeah, exactly.
But it all happened in your mind. But, yeah, I get it, yeah. I met him in Montreal for the first time, and he was super nice then. And, some people would think, like, because of his status that, because some people... get on one show and they're like, they kill me with this right here. Like, you see me, like, do I know you? I'm like, all of a sudden now you don't have 20/20 vision. But I hate that when you see someone and they're famous, but you know them and they give you the squint like, oh, do I know you? And it's like, oh god,
we did the same shows a couple years ago.
Yes, not even a couple of years ago, 9 months ago. So, but I just feel like I like surrounding myself with positive people, and I try to do positive things. Like I said, I do have my moments where I'm like, but just as long as I don't live there, it's okay. And other people, they don't live there, it's okay. But I can't complain about my life at all. Like, other than the fact that, I just called across the street, 3-bedroom townhouse is $6,000 to rent in Los Angeles. But other than stuff like that, I have no complaints about life.
Oh, you called about the place across my street?
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. Yeah, but they were like 3-bedroom townhouse. $6,100 a month to lease. Oh, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So the building that was next door. So I'm nosy. So me and my friend, what was this? Like the first month after I moved in, they were having open houses there, and also in this building for sale. So I was like, let's just sneak in and see what's up. I
love going to open houses. Yeah.
And the ones next door are like
$1.5 million.
Yeah, $1.5 million. They're 3-bed, 3.5 bath, like with like a rooftop and stuff. It was like fancy, but it was like kind of not cozy. Kind of like, contemporary.
Yeah, okay.
Contemporary.
Yeah.
Like very modern in terms of like the design and all that. It was still very cool, all that stuff. But then this building, there was a rooftop one up here that was just 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a rooftop part, and that was like $650. That to buy. I was like, that's still so much money
for an apartment.
I know, so
$650,000.
I know. Well, I come from Chicago too, so like from Chicago, I was like, I still couldn't buy anything. But what drives me nuts is my brother and his wife live in Louisville. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
So you already know.
Yeah, and so wait, but get this. So her parents want to retire in Louisville, so they bought a house. They have their grandparents' house, and they're just like, you guys can just live here for 2 years until we want to move in. And they have to pay. They're paying like $400 to live in this 3-4-bedroom house,
Beautiful.
And it's like, are you kidding me? $400.
And then probably, that house probably wasn't $150,000 in Louisville.
Yeah,
I come from Texas for $2,200 a month. What I'm like right now, I pay $2,200 for an apartment, and it hurts my soul every month. I'm like, just take it out of my account, because if I see it, I might just all of a sudden be like, fuck it, I'll live in my car. But in Texas, like 2,000, 3,000 square feet, $200,000.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff in Kentucky, it's like that too. You can have these huge mansions. It's like insane.
Man, you get a mansion, a mule, a Chick-fil-A cow in the back, a nanny, all of that,
a horse,
all of it.
Stuff.
Yes.
So Texas, then.
Yes.
What was it like growing up in Texas?
It was very cool, but I didn't realize I wasn't cool until I moved to the city. I was actually...
Wait.
Yeah, I was born in Tyler, Texas. I went to high school at Tatum, Texas. Very, very small town.
Lots of T's there.
Yeah, lots of T's. Very rural area. Like, I was the girl that, my uncles went deer hunting, and I shot a BB gun at 6. Like, I was the outdoor, went cow tipping, like, that was my life.
Oh, wow.
And...
have venison in your freezer for the year.
All of it, like, seeing a baby calf get, knowing how to,
Oh,
everything.
So you for real. Like, did you get up at like 5 a.m. and help out with the farm?
No, I didn't do that, but if I wanted to go out there around it, because my mom was the only girl of, boys, 4 boys, and I have like tons of uncles and my cousins, so my grandmother really wasn't keen on the girls going out and doing farm work. So I didn't ever, get up, but I've gone to like, I know what it's about. So, but I wasn't that person that got up at 5 a.m. Because my mom in that family was the girl. So, the ladies.
Treated it different,
they were like, oh, a girl. I remember as a kid, like my cousins, they were guys, but my boy cousins, I would get in trouble because I would want to play outside with them. But my grandmother would be like, no, you need to stay inside and read. Or my sister is, and she's older, so she set the bar. And then here I come, but she's like, she can crochet and she can bake from scratch.
Oh my gosh.
And then here I come, and like, I'm super tomboy, and all of that stuff doesn't interest me at all. So I'm wanting to go outside and play tag and football and shoot BB guns. And my grandmother's like, no, you need to stay inside and read or learn to yarn or learn to... And I'm like, this is driving me insane. Hence the reason I can't cook right now, and my sister can just make anything from scratch that you like.
Yeah,
but
one of my sisters can cook really well. I got an Instapot. I can figure stuff out.
There you go.
I like to just throw it all in.
Yeah.
And then
mystery casserole. That's what they did when we were younger. I can remember my mother would I think she was just combining stuff out of the fridge, and we would eat it, and we were just fine. Like, I drank from a water hose. Like, I'm that kid. Like, like these kids that are like, oh, you ask a 6-year-old, like my godson, I'll never forget. I was like, where do you want to grab something for lunch? And he was a baby. And I thought he was going to say McDonald's or something like most kids want. This kid was like, Benihana's.
what?
I was like, what? And then they don't drink water out of water. Like, they have no idea. And I think that I turned out just fine. Maybe. I don't know. The verdict's still out on that. But, you know, I played outside on a Saturday. I rode my bike. Like, I got dirty and, you know.
I was still able to play outside. I think we still did that. But then... Like, because, you know, with cell phones and stuff, like, you have it, but, you know, it's not like, you know, I didn't have one until I was, like, 15, which nowadays is like, whoa.
Yeah,
like,
that's old.
I got cousins that have kids, and their kids are getting their phones at, like, 10 years old.
No, I know some people that got kids that are, like, 6 and 7, and they got cell phones.
What the hell are they going to do with a cell phone?
That's what I'm saying. Like, where are they by themselves that they need to be calling someone?
Yeah.
Like,
especially when you get things on the news, like a 7-year-old girl was walking her dog and someone called the police on her.
She was 8, and they called the police on her mom because she was walking the dog alone in her neighborhood. And then they said the lady was upset because she said even after the fact that they saw that, you know, she was okay, they still, you know, brought the police out. It was a big deal. And
Child Protective Services, they called. And I was like, that's bullshit. Like,
that's just like Adrian Peterson going to jail for spanking his child with the switch. If my mom would have been alive back around them times, she got the death penalty the way she used to whip my butt, because I got a whooping when I was a kid. And I feel like certain kids I don't think you should beat your child, but I think that you should punish your kid other than standing in a corner. And that's just my opinion. Because, like, I always make jokes about it. I was like, when I've tried timeout, I'm just giving them little people time to figure out what they're going to do next. But I feel like you should allow a parent to parent their own kid. And to call CPS on this lady because of the fact that she's allowing her kid to walk their own dog, like, that's just a bit much. Let's call CPS when we see these kids with, you know, bruises all up and down their body, or when they're coming to school not clean, or when they're coming to school hungry, or when they're coming to school with none of their homework touched. Let's get involved with those type things. Let's get something. I was a school teacher for like 8 minutes.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah. And
in Texas?
In Texas, yeah. And that was one of the biggest deals. Like, man, school teachers and police officers, they don't pay them any money, but they have one of the biggest responsibilities in the world. Police are keeping people safe, and teachers are molding our youth and those young generations. And sometimes parents just feel like a teacher is like a daycare center, or they're supposed to take care of their kid, and they're not putting any time
Teachers have to get paid more.
Oh my God. I was driving a school bus, coaching volleyball and basketball, and I had senior English, and after taxes, I was bringing home less than $2,000 a month.
Whoa, and you were living in Texas.
And I was living in Texas. Now, $2,000 a month, I can take care of myself, especially just getting out of college. But it's like I'm going to work at 5 in the morning and getting home at 8 at night.
Yeah.
That's not what?
Yeah.
So you got to truly, truly, truly love it. But like I said, it's not like it used to be. You know, they just aren't, you know, raising their kids.
Yeah.
And helping out with their kids. So that deserves a CPS call. Call CPS. You know, just like that one family where they did call CPS constantly. And then the little boy ended up, his mom and her boyfriend ended up killing him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So at what point did you decide that you didn't want to be a teacher? Were you
8 days in? Like, I
8 days?
No, like, I'm exaggerating, but I realized that it was just not what because as a kid, you know, my mom was a teacher. She, you know, worked in the school system. So you see your parents do something and you're like, oh, I want to do this. And no, I was just like, And now I realize it, but I was forcing myself to go to be the person that goes to a 9 to 5, especially after going to college. It's like you almost kind of have to, because it's like after college, you know, this is the time to be creative. You got to get a job, you know, because Sally Mae is on my back still. But you got to, you know, that's the next step. Like, if you go by society's rule that I got to graduate from college, I've got to get this great job, I've got to get married, I've got to have kids, and that just wasn't interesting to me, but I wanted to fit the mold and do it.
Well, I feel like that, hopefully, I think that mold is changing. I mean, I've got a lot of friends that don't want to have kids. And, and honestly, I'm on the fence about it right now. I'm like,
Well, I used to, and I can't sit here and say that I wouldn't want to, but my eggs are probably damn near scrambled at this point in my life. But then you think about, I feel like it's selfish to have a kid now with the way society is. I just can't see myself, like we were talking about these younger kids being millionaires. I can't even imagine being a younger kid with social media. Like, I tell people comparison to other people's life is horrible. That's the worst. Don't compare your life to anyone else's, especially in our industry. You'll start looking at another comedian and you'll be like, oh my God, they're headlining everywhere. They're doing this movie. They're doing that movie. I'm not doing it. It might not be your time. But imagine a 7-year-old whose parents are, having camels and llamas and Justin Bieber singing happy birthday at their party, and you're getting a regular super cool party at a skating rink. But comparing it to Justin Bieber, you're like, my life ain't shit. So I just can't I can't fathom bringing a child into that. And sometimes I feel like we can be a bit selfish because I just don't know what this world is going to be like in the next 40 years. Like,
it is a little scary.
It is. It's a whole lot scary, These robots, I'm watching that stuff.
I've got bits. I've got some stuff on the robots. I have a theory. I think everyone's got to learn a hack because, like, in the future, I got to check about this. I'm working on it, but it's like in the future, I think, like, in like 30, 40 years when everyone has like sex robots at home, I think people are going to hack into the sex robots, and that's how all the murders are going to happen. Yeah. Like, everyone's going to die. Like, that's what's going to, like, that's, I know it's ridiculous, but still, I think that's what's going to happen.
I don't think it's ridiculous because of the fact that, like, if you notice, and I tell people this especially, like, we don't have them out here too much in LA, but like in Texas, they're everywhere, like Walmarts. And, you know, that was the way that Walmart got everyone's business, cut out the little small businesses because they were like, we're going to have this great big mega store. There aren't going to be any lines. We're going to have enough people to, you know, check someone out. And now you run into Walmart and it's like the post office where you got to like beg someone to check you out. But if you notice, from McDonald's to Walmart to the post office, they're putting electronic people in there. They're putting those kiosks. Even in banks, like if you walk into a bank, you might have 2 tellers and 10 kiosks. That's all computerized.
Well, and the thing is, it's fine if computers can make our lives better, but like there should be some sort of thing for that loss of job, because there's jobs that they're doing that they're saving money. Like, isn't there a way we could have like a basic level income for people? Because if the whole point is technology makes our lives easier. You know?
Well, it's making our lives easier, but it's also not having to deal with, you know, humans anymore. Like,
oh yeah, kids. I've read that some kids in college they have to. There's classes in college on how to like date and communicate with people.
Because people, especially with technology, like, I tell people all the time, and I tried to have this with my stepkids, it didn't work, but I used to even try to have the dinner table where the cell phone is non-existent, because if you go to a restaurant and you look around, everyone's on their cell phone.
It's so fucked up. Yeah, I used to play that game with my friends. We'd stack our phones on top of each other, and whoever grabbed it first had to buy a round.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, whoever grabbed their phone first had to get a round of drinks or something like that.
Okay.
So because then that forces you to actually like, and that's what I do love. I think that's part of the reason why I still love stand-up so much, is because that is a moment where you're really connecting in the moment. And I love that they're doing these shows now where you lock up your phones. You can't have the phones at the show. Yeah. You know,
I think it's great, and you know, I think it's also great because even when you go to concerts, like, it's like, how are you enjoying you're not even living in the moment or enjoying this experience and keeping the best memory because you're trying to record it to let other people see, you know, that you're there. And
that's why I like hiking, because even though I do something like at the top of the mountain, like while I'm hiking, there's no social media, there's no ads being thrown my way, and all that.
I mean, it's just the life that we live in, and I just hope that, nothing crazy happens.
Knock on wood.
I know, right? But it's just, you just never know. And I never say what's crazy and what's not, and what, if someone has an idea, because it's just, you just never know. But I think it's selfish of some people, especially even financially. I know people say that there's no specific right time to have a kid, but if you're sleeping on someone's couch, you and your boyfriend, and you're barely, come on, like 2018, like there's no reason that we should have accidental pregnancies.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
like there's so much contraception, like, dude, like there's, So I feel like those moments, if you're not financially ready or even emotionally ready, because I have some friends that, had babies early, and then they have like a 15-year gap in between their kids. And she was just like, this is horrible. She goes, I can't believe that I had a kid this late. She goes, because I've already, like, she's set in her ways and she has a routine. And she was like, and now it's all about change, and I don't know which way is going, this way, that way. And she was like, and that's selfish. She was like, this kid he didn't bring himself here. I was like, nope. And she was like, so I just got to suck it up and deal with it. I was like, yeah. that's it. And I think people don't, think that through all the way. But yeah, that would scare me, batshit. So I don't know.
No. We also talk about relationships on this podcast.
Oh God.
We don't have to go too personal, but I was just like, so are you dating right now? What's your
No, I'm actually married, and but I'm separated.
Oh, gotcha.
Unfortunately, and that was part of me coming back to LA, just to kind of like see, because it's really tough being in a relationship or being married and being a female comedian.
I think just in a relationship at all. Well,
I think it's even tougher for us because, like, when we're on stage, we want to just be a comedian. And as well as I know, like, jokes have no, it's no gender with jokes. So, like, guys, and we're around guys all the time, they can say some pretty gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
So to your significant other who loves you and cares about you and cherishes you and admires you and adores you, they don't want to see you go through that. But we're built to just be like, I used to just have to tell my husband, I was like, I've had these titties my whole life. Well, they didn't get this big till I got older. But I was saying that to say, I'm used to men looking here instead of my eyes.
Yeah.
I was like, so if I had an argument with every man that said something disrespectful to me, I would be Mike Tyson's little sister. I'd be fighting every day. I was like, so unless someone just grabs me or is just that blatant disrespectful, then I can handle it. But as a woman, if someone cares about you, they don't want you to see, they don't want to see you going through that type of disrespect. They don't get that, unfortunately, one of the things about comedy, it's a fraternity, and we're all in there together, and the guys don't stop to say, oh, she's a female, I can't joke with her like that, in the green room. It can be, so it's just tough. Then you're on the road all the time, you're gone, and as a woman, like a guy, I get envious of these guys that have family and kids. Like, they come in, those that still have regular jobs, or even if they have a spouse that does, they don't have to get dinner ready and their kids ready before going out to do a bit. Mom has to make sure her husband's okay, make sure the kids are okay, make sure dinner's good, then go out. Like, that's exhausting. Yeah. It can be. So, it's tough. So, unfortunately, right now we're separated, and I did my first television interview 2 weeks ago. I think I was in Atlanta for Sister Circle, and they asked me a relationship question, and it wasn't pertaining to my my marriage, because one of the people on the panel, like, she's a friend of mine, so she knows kind of personally what's going on. So it was almost like, okay, my marriage is off limits, but like this, we're talking about relationships. So they asked me, like, what was one of the harder things about how comedy affected my social life, or how do I think comedy affects, females' social life. And I said, men can say a lot of times that they want a strong woman, but with a strong woman comes a strong woman's opinion. And it caused so much havoc in my relationship because he took it personal. And I was like, it had nothing to do with you.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
So and my friends know me, and I can be blunt. And so some people can take it the wrong way sometimes, but my friends who know me well, like, get it. They're just like, okay, that's just the way. Because sometimes it's just quick to the point. Be like, oh no, this is the problem. You know, and like move on after that.
Exactly, and that's what we're thinking. But you just have to. So now in my brain, I realize too, like, you know, as a woman, we're nurturers, and we want to take care of people. So instead of me just going straight on to just do my job, in your mind, you're thinking, okay, I want to make sure that I choose my words correctly and carefully because I don't want to offend anyone. To whereas I feel like men just say, fuck it, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And, you know, I'm a man and I didn't mean it and I'm sorry and that's it. But with us, we're like, I don't want your feelings to be hurt. I'm sorry because we're sensitive and emotional. So we don't want our feelings being hurt. Mm-hmm. So we want to always make sure that we take care of the next person. So it's tough, and I don't know where things are going to, you know, land up. I know right now I'm just really just focused on my work, and that's one of the best things that I can focus on right now, because if you just get, that's my pity party stuff that I could just really just be like, oh my God, because dating, I hate it. Like after being married, like I don't want to date. Like I've seen and I've heard,
I mean, actually, I've been enjoying LA dating a little bit, maybe a little too much, but
really? You already said you got that good. Sleeping with Sara.
But I just think that LA guys are way more outgoing and upfront than Midwest guys, and I just wasn't used to that. Like, guys will buy you drinks at bars. Guys will like be more outgoing, and that doesn't. No, I feel like they are more direct. Even on the date, they're like, "Hey, I want to take you out," or "Hey, I want to do this." And Midwest guys don't do that. They're just kind of they're just like chicken shit, or like they're just like I don't know how to explain Midwest guys, but they're not that.
See, I get the opposite. I feel like LA guys out here, at least for me, but I don't really know. I'm talking way back then when I lived here before getting married, but my perception of LA guys, I had, maybe it's just this one situation that was horrible, but I had this guy and we were on set, and that just lets you know how long ago it was, because now I would prefer not to date someone that I work with, but there was this guy on set and he was amazing, and I was all googly-eyed, and I was probably doing all types of corny, lame stuff for him to notice me, but he didn't. But then when we got outside and he noticed I had a nice car, he was all about it.
Oh,
and I was like, I was like, how yuck is that? He goes, oh yeah. He goes, you want to take me for a ride in your car? I was like, nah, when I was sitting in my background chair a minute ago, you didn't have 2 words for it. You know, so I just don't like the fickleness. It's just,
some people are like that, I guess. But, but thankfully, I think I've hung out with mostly people that are more real than that. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't. But I don't, the bad thing about me is I go to like entertainment functions. Like I need some regular functions to go to hang out, versus, because my whole deal, I don't even go to bars, because I always say I'm going to drink at comedy clubs, so that's my social scene. So it's just like I've got to branch out. But it's I don't, and see, Texas guys are totally different. Like Texas guys open doors, you know, they take you out on dinner dates. Like they don't text you like, what you doing? That's not a date. Like
I think that's just a generational thing that's changed, which is, I still get surprised. Like one guy's like opens doors and it's like, oh wow, that's like,
that's nice. Oh, okay.
Nice. It's like, okay, that's cool.
It's right. Yeah. Or like, you know, because it's just, but I try to look at it as, you know, LA is a city where people are coming here to get something. They're coming here for a dream. They're coming here to obtain something. So that's the mentality that I have with people that are like, okay, what do you want from me? Like, what's your end game? What's your goal here? So
I'm like, hey, like, I just want something casual, because comedy's going to come before you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, if you're not okay with it, you know.
And it's weird, because I'm at the point where I'm trying to allow myself to be selfish, because it's like, I don't have any attachments, you know, I don't have kids I gotta take care of, I don't have a, you know, and so it's like, I am being selfish right now, and I'm letting the people I'm dating know, I'm like, I'm gonna be real selfish right now, and like, you know, if I have to cancel or I have to do this thing, like, that's just, you just gotta deal with it. And some are okay with it, some say they're okay with it, and then they're not okay with it. And you just go from there.
And that's part of that, you know. With a strong woman, you got a strong opinion, and you know, honesty is key. Like, communication is key. And how can someone get upset with you when you're being honest up front? Like, hey, let's keep this casual. Like,
oh, they can get upset.
She said, but that ain't gonna matter.
No.
Yeah.
They can get upset, especially if they're like, hey, like, how many people are you keeping this casual with?
Well, that ain't your business at all, sir.
I know. They can.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because some people have gotten mad at me, and I'm like, dude, I'm being honest with you. I'm doing no different than what most guys do all the time.
They just don't want to hear it from women. They're not ready. They're like, she's sleeping with more than one person. Yes, brother, I am. And you're going to make it less than one if you keep on with the questions. Yeah, so.
I mean, it's just funny. It is like a double standard that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm having fun. I'm not too worried about it. But it's like, at the same time, I notice that. I'm just like, well, I've had situations where guys were like that to me, and I just dealt with it. Or
you had to deal with it or move on. But at least you're being honest and you give someone the opportunity to say whether or not they want to deal with it or they want that type of relationship. And if you don't want it, then you go ahead. But I feel like if everyone were honest, then there wouldn't be any hurt feelings, like true hurt. Like, you might have a bruised ego that your woman that you really like just said, it's about 2 or 3 of you, so don't leave your toothbrush or your shoes, fella. You know what I mean? But that's a bruised ego. Being hurt as when you've been with someone for 3 or 4 months and you're thinking, oh my God, this is amazing. And then they find Ted coming out of the closet. That's when you're hurt. So as long as you're being honest with people, I think, besides the bruised
hard.
ego. It is, yeah.
It's not fun being honest to, like, possibly hurt people, but you're like, this is the right thing to do.
You're bruising them. Just remember, you only bruise. Say, I'm only bruising you now. If I lie to you, it's going to hurt you.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're just bruising them. It's for the moment. Would you rather be bruised for 5 minutes in the beginning of this relationship when I tell you that there's others? Or would you rather me lie to you and you be deeply hurt when you find out 3 months in? So just tell them, I'm a bruise. It's like a shot. It's going to hurt for a second. Bing, and then you're going to forget about it.
At least all of them are cool with the me hanging out with a lot of dudes and being out late with stand-up. You know, that's the number one thing. I'm like, hey, that's that.
That's it. We're out late. We're around men all the time.
We drink. We smoke weed with them. That's just part of the game.
You got to be okay with it. And if they're not confident and secure in themselves, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't know exactly where my relationship's going to end. Of course, I'm always hopeful. But we've got so many issues that we have to work out. And I don't want to be fearful. Like, I feel like a lot of people, just like how I just said, oh my God, dating is horrible. I don't want to date, but I don't want to stay in a situation either just because I'm like, ooh, dating sucks. Like, if this is a toxic, bad situation, not to say that that's what it is, but if it's a toxic situation that necessarily that you shouldn't be in, but you'll stay in it because of the fact you're like, ooh, dating sucks and there aren't any good guys, like, then that's a whole nother issue of just being alone. And hey, be like Sara, just date and have you some fun and keep it casual.
Yeah.
And not,
I mean, I just know what I want right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I want right now,
Yeah.
So it's just the way it is. I'm not looking to get wifed up or whatever. But you can date people and you can see, oh no.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
And I'm not what you're looking for, dude.
Yeah, you can tell. It's in the eyes.
Yeah. And also just like... Also, you can tell, they want to be the breadwinner. They want to be this situation.
Because with that comes power and control.
So, do you have any other random relationship advice for people not comedy or in comedy or anything?
My random advice for dating, like, when I've thought of dating, like, when I've seen guys, keep your hand, like... I understand, especially living in LA, like living in the large cities and with the economy, I get it. Everyone doesn't have money for like expensive stuff, but keep yourself groomed. Like, guys, keep your nails clean. Like, I was looking at this guy and he was like giving me the look, and I looked at his hands and I was just like, ew, like his nails were so dirty. And you might not can afford to get a manicure, and most guys, if they're not into that, they're like, I don't want to do it. But just clean yourself up. Like, clean
and if
yourself.
You got back hair, get that shit waxed.
Our nose hair, our ear hair. Like, just groom. Come on, man.
That's the thing that's so unattractive to me. It was like back hair. It's like,
because your hands, you be running your hands through it. And then just think about it. Like, you're in a great sexual position, right? And you're going to get distracted because you're going to be running your fingers through that. And you're going to forget what's happening because we're comedians. So instead of you thinking about sex, you're going to be thinking about, should I braid this? Should I lay this down with some gel? Like, you're going to be thinking of so many jokes instead of thinking about you getting some good.
Should I pretend while I'm giving a good that's so good that I just rip it out?
Or just start braiding it and eat it like monkeys do when they just like, it's just so many things. So yeah, I can see that. But guys, like, if you're gonna date a woman, just like clean yourself up. And the same thing with ladies. Like, ladies, you know, wash your hair. Like, you know,
make an effort.
Yeah, make an effort. You know, some people like the bush, some people don't. But you know, just make sure it's a clean whatever. Just groom it up.
Make sure it's inviting down there, so he'll wanna.
So yeah, that'll get you more FaceTime. Really. That'll get you some extra FaceTime. Just, you know, clean it up, and at the end of the day, be nice to people. Mm-hmm. Do unto others, and it, once again, I said, you know, it sounds cliche, but I live by treat people how you want to be treated. And if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Or wait till you get in your car by yourself to talk shit like the rest of us do. But don't, you know, because some people are just flat out rude or nasty and just yucky. And this thumb thugging on social media, like how people are so nasty, like that's what I'm having to start working on, is being able to take all that. Because it's like, wait a minute, this person doesn't even know me. How are they saying these things about me and they don't even know me? And that's, you know, just because there are some mean, evil, yucky people out there. So at the end of the day, that's the advice that I have. Like, if you could just clean it up, you know, take a woman out, take a guy out, like, get off your phones, you know, have some eye contact with that person, you know, do some things like, and it doesn't even have to be with money. Like, we've got so many festivals and things, or just going hiking. It's so many things you could do without money.
Yeah. You could go, there's so many things you go to the free museum days. Yeah. There's tons of stuff you can do. It's not, you don't have to be spending tons of money. And that's the same thing too. Like, people I'm hanging out with, they're like, and even like, Chicago baseball games, Cubs game, you couldn't get a Cubs game ticket for like less than $50-$60. Yeah. Games here, you could get like $15 Dodgers seats. Like, that's cheap. Dodgers, like, that's awesome, you know? Like,
just put in the effort. Put in the effort and treat people how you want to be treated, and I think the world would be a better place.
Yeah, I agree.
And comedy always helps.
Yeah, being funny.
Be with a girl or a guy that makes you laugh. Sometimes you just gotta, you know, be with a comedian. You know, guys get with the girl that can make you laugh. Girls get with the guy that can make you laugh, because comedy laughter heals, and sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying. You know what I mean? So get with someone that can make you laugh, and laugh at yourself. Like, that's what I do. Laugh at yourself.
Yeah, that's how you can tell. Like, if you're in a sexual situation and something gets awkward, you want to be able to laugh about it. It's a person that you're comfortable with. And instead, like, if I'm ever with somebody and then, like, it's something and I'm laughing and they're like, awkward, I'm like, oh, this is not going to work.
Yeah, we ain't compatible. You got to be able to, like, the other day, I almost bit it. I almost fell. And it would have been one of those falls to where I know I'd have broke the skin on everything. And the worst part about it is I was live. But I laughed. I was like, no one saw me because I was walking to a comedy club, but I almost fell, and I knew it was going to be a bad fall, but it tickled me so because it startled me because I wanted to catch myself. I was like, whoa, so I can imagine what my face looked like. But you got to be able to laugh at yourself. Yeah. You got to be. You can't take yourself too serious. Can't take life too serious. And don't stress about stuff you can't change. I know people that's easier said than done. I work on it every day. Because whether it's a bill, whether it's your kid that's acting up, whether it's the weight you can't get off, whether it's the car you don't have, whether it's the credit you don't have, you're doing your very best. And don't be so hard on yourself, and enjoy the journey, and enjoy where you are right now. Like, I know that we just talked about us wanting to do movies, but right now you got a kick-ass podcast in your bed. What options, and making your own sexual choices. Enjoy that, man.
I'm enjoying LA. I'm 3 months in. I'm having a fun ass time.
This is great. Like, I think this whole setup is amazing. So congratulations. And you know, you're one of the good ones. And when we met, that genuine, authentic meeting, that was amazing. And I'm glad that you invited me to do your podcast and your show. I had an amazing time that night. And anything that I can do to help your career, or I'll even help if somebody coming over here getting too attached and you be like, I need some backup, bitch. I'm on my way. I'll be like, bitch, I'll be there. It might take me 30 minutes from the valley, but I'm on my way. So you one of the good people, and anything that I can do to help, I will.
Oh, you're awesome. I'm so glad. I just got one more question before. I always ask people this. I know we touched on this a little bit, but I always ask people, like, what are your dreams and goals for the future? Make people put it out there into the universe.
Well, my number one goal right now, what I would love to do is have my own talk show, whether it be late night, daytime. I would love to be able, just like this, to have good banter and talk with people and help people and show people that also, because a lot of time people get a false sense of that people with money or celebrities don't have problems. And we do. And not to say I'm a celebrity or rich people, I'm just in that category of the industry. And it's just a different it's a different level, a different problem. Like, you know, I would love to be able to just talk to people and help people and be inside their homes every day, and to let people know that, you know what, this is what's happening. It's okay. Motivate people and have a purpose. And of course, I would love to have my own sitcom, whether it be on whichever side of the camera, because as a kid growing up, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to marry a Puerto Rican named Ricky, because I loved Lucille Ball.
Yeah, okay.
And we didn't even realize, you got to think about it, Lucille Ball was in black and white, and she was gorgeous. And if you're noticing now, like, female comedians are okay with being sexy, but especially in the African American culture, I've had a guy tell me, oh, you're pretty, so you're not going to be funny. And it's like, what? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now we're getting to the point where it's okay for female comedians to be pretty and sexy and still, you know, all of these things. So I would love to, you know, have my own sitcom or write a sitcom and eventually do movies. But I just want to spread the love of just being a good person and helping as many people as I can. And I always say that's one of the reasons I've never won the lottery, because I'd be broke within a year. Because, you know,
I'd
give it away. Oh. But, you know, and I used to even have a deal. I'd say, I'm going to buy all my friends a house, but we all have to live in the same cul-de-sac. But I'd be broke. And that's fine, as long as, you know, I could help some people. But eventually I would love to have my own talk show so I can talk people's head off like I've been talking yours off, and just to help people and give people, you know, something to look forward to and give people an escape. And that's what, you know, live comedy is too, because when they come to a show, hopefully for an hour or two, they've forgotten that, you know, Sally Mae is in their pockets, or they forgot that they rent is back due, or they forgot that, you know, they're having car trouble, or they forgot that their boss is a yuck master and they hate their job, but they have no choice because they don't have anything else. And I want to be able to give people that escape, and also let people know that they're not alone, and probably the same type of problem that they're having. If they just count 3 doors down, someone's having the exact same situation, and it's okay.
Yeah. That's a really great goal. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for getting in my bed and doing the podcast.
No, thank you. This has been great. Like, that's why I was like, oh, this is cool right here. Like, I can get used to this when we come back. No.
And we always end the podcast by saying good night. So good night, everybody.
Good night. This has been great. Thank you so much. I had so much fun.
Thanks for listening to Sleeping with Sara, where I slept with Crystal Powell. Be sure to check out Coffee with Crystal on her Instagram and YouTube. So check out her on Instagram, follow her at Crystal P Comedy, and check out her website, crystalpcomedy.com. If you like the podcast, please rate and review on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Play. We're brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsara. I'm releasing a new podcast each week, so please tune in to find out who I have in bed with me next. Thanks to Josh Bryant for the music, and if you want to find out more, please go to saraalbritton.com and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Sara Albritton. Until next time, good night.